Hey everyone, it's Amia Khan here with the Fox 10 News Now update. Joining me is Ron Hoon.
Hi everybody.
Happy Friday.
Boy, no kidding.
It's a very happy Friday.
Yeah.
Because it's the end of the week.
I know, it seems like it was kind of a long week.
It felt long, and it felt lonely because you had to leave me so many mornings to go do your morning show thing, your actual job.
I know, and here's the funny thing about that.
What's that?
So I don't get to hang out with you as much because we had this big, I like to call it our own music video. But then I don't get to hang out with everybody in the chat box.
I know.
And I miss our friends from all over the world.
Well, you could still hang out because you have an iPhone. You could actually just tune in on the go.
And welcome to the loft.
You know?
Wow.
Just an idea.
Who's that guy trying to horn in on all the fun?
I know. It was our ad.
Oh, was it? Okay.
You know how we have automatic ads that play when people join us on News Now?
But that's only because we've become so successful.
Ha
Yeah, I don't think when we started YouTube even paid attention to us, but I think now all the people at YouTube know about us. They have to.
They should be watching at YouTube headquarters.
Some of the days, the number of people that we have watching us, it really is incredible. You know, the first time I really realized the power of what we were doing was the day of the llama drama.
You mean also llama drama / Arius Watch?
Was that also a Jody day?
I believe so.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
We were all waiting on Jody Arius, and llama drama lightened things up.
Oh, that's right.
Broke it all up.
Okay, and then a few days later, the actual verdict came down.
Right.
With the Arius case, and then we saw literally people from all over the world. And so here's what we said. We said, hey, hang out with us afterwards. And a lot of people do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of news to talk about.
Yes, we do.
I know Anita was out in Utopia covering this homicide. We're going to check in with her right now, actually.
Okay.
So I'm going to see if we can cue up. All right.
A very active investigation here in the area of 7th Avenue and Union Hills. Police focusing their investigation on that home you see right there. That is where they say they found the body of a man in his 30s in the backyard. It was just about 3:30 this morning when two women who reside in the home or were inside the home called police. When officers arrived, the two women talked to the officers, and that is when they found the adult male in the backyard. They tell us that he had signs of obvious trauma. The two women have talked to investigators. They have been cleared as suspects. At this point, investigators tell us that they are looking to speak to a number of other people who may have been inside the home when the argument took place.
There was actually, I understand, two women when patrol officers arrived with paramedics shortly thereafter at about 3:20 this morning when the call came in as unknown trouble. Obviously, the females provided patrol officers a bit of a story. We've subsequently spoke to them, and they've been released at this point. They're not suspects in this case. They provided us some details. Obviously, we're looking at the background of the victim and any circumstances surrounding what had occurred. So we still have some other people that may have been here earlier in the evening to try to locate them and talk to them of what they might know may have occurred or what was going on with the victim at that time.
Could it be self-inflicted, or you guys are pretty sure?
No, based on what the scene looks like, I don't see this as a self-inflicted scenario. This appears to be, again, trauma to the point that there was some type of conflict with another individual. A witness in the neighborhood heard possibly some loud voices. Yeah. So there may have been an argument. We still are trying to determine that. So, again, it could have been conflict between the victim and another party.
How odd is it for you guys to find the body in the backyard? You typically, we will see the homicides more inside the home, not taken outside.
Well, unfortunately, working homicides, using the term odd is probably not a good thing at this point. So we see a lot of peculiar things. Yeah. So, but unfortunately, this is what occurred in this case, that the male adult aged victim was found in the rear yard of this residence. It's not a location of where he resides specifically, but he has frequented here. So.
And neighbors say they're a little shaken. Isolated incident, or should they be concerned?
No, I believe it's to be an isolated scenario.
Well, neighbors also tell us that they heard arguing and fighting just about 1:30 this morning. That's 2 hours before police officers arrived. Investigators say they'll be out here throughout the morning piecing together exactly what happened. Samia, back to you.
Okay, I know you guys were covering that story all morning, right?
Sure.
So this
a very active investigation here in the area.
I guess you could say, suspicious.
Right.
That's probably the best word to just use.
Yeah, and maybe we'll learn a lot more, by the end of the day. They're still trying to sort it out. I mean, are we actually dealing with a homicide?
I think they called it a homicide, right?
Yeah, but remember some of the earlier questions that she was asking is, what about self-inflicted?
Right, and he's saying that it doesn't appear self-inflicted
Correct.
based on witnesses
Yeah.
or what other people
but
heard.
So they have to do all of their sort of eliminating, right? But we have to, in case that it does turn out to be what we think it is, we got to get out there, and actually cover it. And it's too bad. I mean, that's usually a pretty quiet area up there along Union Hills, a little bit off the I-17 freeway.
Okay.
So it had to be kind of a bit of a shock for people in that neighborhood. I bet you. Yeah. So anyway, Anita, boy, I'll tell you, she was all over the place. Do you know that when we went on the air at 4:30 this morning, she was out at the state legislature? I mean, talk about somebody who can be a jack of all trades and wear lots of different hats and cover every kind of story. She's at the legislature saying, I just saw some of the senators and representatives leaving a little while ago.
Wow.
Because it went on all night long. They literally pulled an all-nighter. And I don't know so that's the wrap on the legislative session, which was controversial this year.
They were there all night?
Yep, they were there all night and past midnight. And then there was this big brouhaha, as one senator called it, the most chaotic he's ever seen it. People angrier, more chaotic.
What happened?
Because the Senate adjourned while the House, which is, I'm sorry, you could walk over there and check out what's going on. It's only 100 yards away. While the House was over there still voting on bills, trying to get them through real quick. And the senators are like, see you next year. So.
In their version of next year, not literally 2017 or 2016.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless there's a special session, they won't see them until next year, right? So the session starts every year in January, starts traditionally with the governor's State of the State speech, and then they meet it's supposed to be a, quote, citizen legislature as opposed to Congress, which they meet all year round, except when they take these
Wait,
two-week
they only
breaks.
meet 3 months?
Yes.
Oh, really? I thought this was just a break that they were going on.
you know what? You're used to California where it's like a permanent thing. You go to Sacramento and you're always there.
Yeah,
No, these people go back to their jobs and stuff. Citizen legislature.
Oh.
I'm loving your facial expressions.
I'm just like really
right now.
I was like, oh yeah, they're going on holiday because it's it's Easter.
Right.
Why maybe they're taking a spring recess.
It is done until literally next year.
Okay.
But now to keep this in mind, the whole idea originally of creating a House of Representatives or a Senate all the way back in the beginning of our country was you would have citizen representatives, because back in those days it's so hard for people to travel, and of course we didn't have any of the internet or ability for everybody to communicate at once, so they're like, well, you people in your community, you get together and select one person who can travel by horseback, or in a coach or whatever, and get them on down here to Washington, and we'll all get together and see what we can agree on. And then you go back to being a representative of the people that you come from. That was sort of the original idea. Now it's become this massive bureaucracy.
Right.
And even in a lot of states, it's become kind of a full-time deal.
Wow.
But here it's more of what I guess you consider the
olden days.
Olden days, the traditional ways from long, long ago.
So are they now taking a horse back to where they were?
Yeah.
Galloping back?
I got a feeling they were doing 70 on the I-10 to try to get home
they
last
drive a
night.
Mustang.
Wrap it up. But I'm telling you this much, if you didn't wrap up till 4 a.m., if I knew I was wrapping up at the legislature and it was 4 o'clock in the morning, I'd make a little stop at Rainbow Donuts.
You've told me.
Fresh and hot. You haven't been there yet, but they
told
come
me
out.
The apple fritter?
Yeah, they come out at about 4 a.m., and that apple fritter is one of the best creations on the planet.
There's a lot of creations on the planet. Those are bold words.
Okay, one of the best food creations. So anyway.
Oh, wow.
See,
I learned something new.
Like Jonathan out there in Texas, he's like, morning, Sammy and Ron, and then he's putting donuts in and everything else for the little icons. He's thinking about it. Oh, I'll do that.
All right, let's see what our viewers are saying. Hello, everyone. Hi, Rachel, Jay Hastings, Annie, Billy Z. Cruising, Patrick, Jonathan, everyone else who's chimed in. Zena, LS, Jessica, thanks for joining us, along with all of our other viewers who may be watching us, but maybe they don't chat with us.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of viewers that watch us but don't necessarily interact in the chat window. So hello
Right.
to you guys as well. We want to acknowledge you guys. Thank you guys for joining us here on News Now. A lot of topics to talk about today. So we talked about the, I guess, the breaking news of the morning. This, what appears to be the homicide out in Utopia.
Right.
The next story I want to talk about is a story we've literally talked about every single day since the incident occurred, the Germanwings crash.
Okay.
We have more information now because the second black box was recovered.
Right.
And they actually found that information, now proving, as if you didn't need any more information in support of the fact that Andreas Lubis did this on purpose.
Right.
The black box shows that he accelerated
I know.
as the plane
Which
was going
which
down.
is new information, because I think we all thought that it was just a kind of remember, they were saying originally,
Right.
those first couple of days, that he was coming down at the rate of about
Autopilot.
3,000 feet per minute.
Right.
And so to get from 38,000 feet down to wherever the Alps were,
100,
about 6 or
yeah.
7,000 feet right through there. And now we find out what could have been even more terrifying is knowing that you're coming down too fast and you're thinking something's not right. And then
Right.
you hear him like trying to,
That's
it's just so
terrible.
horrible.
Awful.
Plus the fact that he Googled
Right.
various suicide methods. So
Cockpit security.
Right, what he needed to know about the cockpit door.
Right.
How about that? You're in the industry. You should know about how these.
I just assume he knew because he was a pilot, but I
know.
guess he had to research it.
He Googled it. So it just, I don't know. Every day it just gets a little worse and a little worse, and frankly a little bit more
Billy Z. Cruzen
horrifying.
chiming in on that thing we all just learned. Wow, 3 months a year and they make more money than the median income of private sector employees.
Yeah, well. I will say this, Billy D. Cruiser. I believe, I might be a little bit off on these numbers, Samia, but when we play a numbers game, you're pretty good.
You're pretty good at this.
There was something yesterday you asked me about, and
It was 32 years,
correct.
or 32 people killed in Virginia Tech. That's what you got.
Yes. But then you also asked, I think we were trying to figure out when that one plane crash in Tampa was. I think we got it right
2002.
there, something like that. But anyway, I believe the number is 12 out of 12 times, but it could be, Billy, 13 out of 13 times. It's come up as a vote to the people, do you want to raise their pay? And every single time, it's been voted down. So they haven't gotten a raise in about 30 years, I think. As opposed to Congress, where they don't have to go to the people to ask. They set up their own rules. And so they can set it up so that they're just automatic increases. So, anyway.
All right, let's see. Samia loves saying my name, Patrick. Thanks. Good morning, everyone. Okay, well, let's, Joe Foley chiming in on the Germanwings crash because Joe Foley is our Germanwings crash expert.
Correct.
I've seen somewhere that the co-pilot was on his second flight of the day, so it was a case of him waiting for his chance. Wow.
Better Google that. I hadn't seen that yet.
Wow.
If that's the case, when they find out what was his earlier, that would actually make sense when you think about it, because these crews, they do, so if in fact this flight, where did it come in from before Barcelona? What about that leg from Madrid to Barcelona, or wherever
that
it might
plane
have
had
been?
Well, yeah, we've never really talked about where that plane had come from.
I know, but didn't we say a long time ago? There's still wait till you.
Unless
a
he
week from
always
now,
wanted
2
to
weeks from
crash
now?
into the Alps. Because, I mean, one of the things we learned early on was that the co-pilot, like someone had said that the co-pilot was like obsessed with the Alps.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
I'm just saying there's so many different,
Yeah.
I don't know, things out there.
Yeah.
What am I seeing? Taylor's new boyfriend. Does Taylor Swift have a new boyfriend?
If so, it didn't cross.
I didn't know about
my
that. It's
plate
not
this
even.
morning.
It's not even on my rundown. I'm just paying it. We have a lot of TV screens up here.
Yeah, we do. We
In
have
the
a lot.
newsroom, and
Well,
sometimes
I
I
would
see
say that's what's
headlines,
going on.
and I'm like, what?
Well, if you want to search,
There's the real breaking news.
if you want to search that, I'm going to search this tip from our buddy in the chat box and just find out a little bit more about that.
All right.
Okay, so I'm just going to go German wings. And of course it comes off as Herman wings. I got to get a bigger phone because do you type with your thumbs?
I type with everything.
Do you? I only
Yeah.
type with my thumbs.
I type with my thumbs. I guess
Yeah.
you're right.
I mean, with the larger phone, the screen is larger, so are the digits larger, the letters larger when you're typing? I'm hoping so.
Oh, you mean on the new
Yeah,
phone?
because I've tried to put
You know what, we should
German
ask-
wings in, and I got Herman wings.
But it auto-corrected.
No, I had to redo it.
Oh, well, Jeff has an iPhone 6 Plus. You should play with that and see how much you like it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I am gonna real quick look that up. German wings second leg. I'm gonna have to do a more exhaustive search, I think. Oh, well, maybe not. Let me filter it through news. Oh yeah, here we go. With a headline from the Daily Beast, Lubitz would have killed an earlier flight.
Oh, wow.
And so, just giving them credit, it's the Daily Beast who's got this, and they say, steady drip of clues, early reports he saw. We got to get to the point. I don't like that when they give you a headline and then you got to like dig forever to try to find.
Maybe we missed it. Maybe we already passed it.
Do you see it there? Okay. Put together stress, outward behavior, early reports, doctors, impaired vision. Realized the catastrophe did not happen on his first flight of that day, but on the second. An essential part of the timeline unexplored. The A320 had landed in Barcelona at 8:57. Okay. So he and the captain had probably gotten up early that morning in order to fly the first leg, which was from the hub in Dusseldorf to Barcelona. And then it was on the return flight. Wow. So that is something new. And can you imagine those people who just are waking up to that news today?
Wow.
Oh, boy. Investigators do want to know a little bit more about the interaction between the pilot and the co-pilot and other airline staff.
And view any closed-circuit TV footage that covered it. The crew would have received it.
Right. Okay. So.
Wow.
So, anyway. How about that? Was that Jonathan that gave that us?
I think it was Joe.
Joe? Okay.
I'm going to assume it's Joe because
Okay.
Joe Foley, again, like I've mentioned almost every day
Yep,
on News
yep,
Now,
that's
Joe
right,
Foley
Joe.
is on top of the German wings crash in terms of the latest details.
And then I haven't seen Radar Love logging on yet, but we know that she is able to share with us a lot of really interesting stuff every day as well.
Right, because she is in the airline industry.
Right, longtime flight attendant, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It seems, I think Joe tweeted me it. I have so many things to talk to you about.
Good. Well, I just got a note about a quickie meeting. Maybe this will cover me for all the meetings today.
Maybe.
It's
So
an
you have to go
extra
over
meeting,
there?
but wouldn't, I mean, in terms of putting your chips on the table, if I go in now to an extra meeting, maybe I wouldn't have to go to the big one.
So you had to go right now.
I guess.
All right.
So.
Well, you have a note was
Yes,
delivered to you
an
on
actual,
a napkin.
An actual napkin, so we are doing a zip trip meeting. We have
All right, I'll let you go
10
to your
zip
zip
trips.
trip meeting.
Okay, I'll try to be back here.
And I
pretty
will
short
give our
order.
viewers updates some other news that happened over the course of the last
Well, I'm
day.
just looking at your list, and you have a lot of really interesting
There's
stuff.
a lot of
so.
news happening.
Okay.
So, that being said, I think the first thing I'm going to give viewers is an update on the Jerice Hunter trial. It's been going on day in, day out. Like I've mentioned before, Mia Garcia, Fox 10's very own, has been in court every day covering this trial, and I want to play for you her story that aired yesterday afternoon. Unfortunately, because Mia is in court every day, she doesn't actually have the time to come up here and sit at the News Now set to actually give you guys a direct update. So instead, I will give you the next best thing, which is the actual story that Mia did for our newscast yesterday. So, let me pull that up. All right. And Here is your Jerice Hunter trial update from yesterday.
Her mom before taking the stand.
I always made her mad.
You always made her mad?
I always made my mom mad, so it's kind of my fault because I shouldn't have made her mad.
Hunter's daughter told the jury her mom would punish Jessie by taking her into the master bedroom, spanking her, and then forcing the 5-year-old into this closet.
I went in there and she was crying. She was hurt, I guess. That's right.
Describe how she was hurt.
She had black like stuff coming out her eyes, like glue. And when she wanted me to take her to the bathroom, but she couldn't really walk that much, so he took her to the bathroom.
Hunter's daughter says she would secretly sneak Jessie food and water, but only did that a few times. She last saw Jessie in the closet a week before she was reported missing.
She looked like she was weak and she was still moving, but she wasn't really moving that much.
Hunter's daughter continues to defend her mom.
You guys are trying to make my mom a bad person. She's not a bad person. That's what you're trying to do. She's not a bad person. Just because we get spankings or something, that doesn't make her a bad person. If she gets angry, that doesn't make her a bad person. So you guys need to stop.
Across the courtroom and in front of the jury, Hunter told her daughter she loves her.
Love you. Love you too.
An emotional day in court.
All right, guys, that was Mia's story on the Jerice Hunter trial. Well, the continuation of the Jerice Hunter trial. That is the latest from yesterday. As we mentioned, there was a protected witness. Now we can identify her as one of Jerice Hunter's daughters, as you heard in that audio. Obviously, must have been a very emotional scene, emotional situation between the mother and daughter. As Mia had mentioned in the story, when the witness, the daughter, first arrived in court, she and her mother, Jerice, hugged, and at one point when this witness, this daughter, was giving testimony, Jerice yelled, "I love you." So, obviously a very, I don't want to say a sticky situation, but an emotional situation, to say the least. Want to know what you guys think about the testimony we just heard. Kel Kohler chiming in saying that poor child is brainwashed. Jane Wilcox then questioning something, some of what the daughter had to say. Daughter had to say that her mother wasn't a bad person, but then Jane Wilcox asked if she killed her daughter, she's not a bad person? Ashley Gray then saying she blamed herself. Poor brainwashed child. Rachel Favela wanting to know who the hell would beat a child, especially to that point. And it is just a really sad situation. Halala426, for example, saying horrific what that lady did to her children. Savannah saying she's a very bad person. And also adding, I hope counselors can help this poor child. Yeah, it's a really sad story, but it is the story that we're covering right now. There's a reason why prosecutors believe Jerice Hunter killed little Jessie. Prosecutors are going off of information from various witnesses, including this witness right here, Jerice Hunter's very own daughter, and using that coupled with the knowledge of the fact that Jerice Hunter had already served time in prison out in California for child abuse, and a number of other things that point to Jerice Hunter as the primary suspect in the disappearance and assumed murder of 5-year-old Jessie Shockley in 2011. So that is our Jerice Hunter update for the morning. If I get any new information on the story, I'll bring it to you here. However, I don't anticipate getting new information because it is Friday, meaning court is not in session today. So any new Jerice Hunter information that we receive will probably be Monday here on News Now. All right, moving on. What other stories do I have for you this morning? Got a lot of stories. Here's another story. We talked a little bit about Romaine Brisbane yesterday and how the autopsy came out and how the officer involved in the shooting death of this individual was not going to be charged. Well, Romaine Brisbane's friend came out, spoke with, I believe, Jessica Flores yesterday, and this is what that friend had to say.
Is unarmed, taking a bag of McDonald's food to his daughter, moments before a Phoenix police officer shot him twice. But what's still debated, what happened in the 30 seconds after Romaine Brisbane got out of his SUV to drop off the food.
The last words was, "I'll be right back."
Robert Brandon Dickerson was in the passenger seat of the car.
And I heard the pop. And when I heard the pop, I froze again, and I got out and I backed up from the truck.
According to the police, Officer Mark Ryan was responding to reports of a drug deal. The officer approached Brisbane, who allegedly ran. A struggle ensued. Investigators say Brisbane put his hands in his pockets. The officer thought Brisbane was reaching for the handle of a gun. It turns out it was a pill bottle.
The sequence of the shots weren't in pow, pow. They went pow, pow.
Dickerson admits he didn't see the shooting, and in a police interview right after the shooting, he says he doesn't think the shooting was the officer's fault.
The police, it's not the police. I know that's what it's about. It's not the police's fault. He didn't go in there like on some Darren Wilson. He didn't go in there trying to kill nobody.
But today, Dickerson says he doesn't remember saying those words.
Nah, I don't remember saying it. I don't recall.
And Dickerson is now among the many calling for a federal investigation, saying the officer unjustifiably shot Brisbane. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office saying the officer will not face charges in Brisbane's death.
My friend got out to go take some food to his kids, and the police shot him.
What do you guys think about that story? Now, that is a controversial story as well. People have different opinions on that story. Some believe that Brisbane should have never run from officers in the first place. Other people believe still that it was not fair that Brisbane's life was taken away when he wasn't even reaching for a weapon. It was simply a pill bottle. I want to know what you guys think. I'm going to pull open that YouTube chat window, see what you guys are saying now. Is that Minister Phoenix's answer to Al Sharpton, Billy Z. Cruz in 69? I believe you were talking about Jared Maupin. He was in the press conference that we brought to you earlier this week in regards to Devon Durant, the ASU football player. Jared Maupin is in a number of press conferences, or well, rather he helps spearhead a number of these press conferences, typically known as a civil rights activist. So, Billy Z. Cruz, to answer your question, I guess you could say that he is Phoenix's answer to Reverend Al Sharpton. All right, what else are you guys saying? Jonathan Blinn chiming in, I don't know enough about this story to make a legit judgment. Well, the gist of this story is a man had a struggle with a police officer. He reached into his pocket to get his prescription bottle and instead was shot because the officer who shot him thought that he was reaching for a gun. So that is the story. Jonathan Blinn that now says, that's terrible they shot him. He really did nothing wrong from what I can see. Then again, I don't know much about it at all. Billy Z. Cruz and then saying, not a fan of cops, but they're not psychic. Don't grab for anything in your pockets when police are confronting you. They don't have to wait for you to shoot them. Savannah Rose, stop thinking, if necessary, put your hands where they are, clearly not a threat. Yeah, I mean, it is an unfortunate situation, though, and everything can, we can say a number of things now, but the fact of the matter is, what's done is done, and that's the sad situation. It's hopefully people who are, watching the news or watching News Now or whatever can learn from the situation, whether you're doing something wrong or not. I guess you don't ever want to put yourself in a position where your life could be taken away because of some sort of misunderstanding. All right. Well, that is that news story. I'm going to move on to another story. Here's a story that's affecting people out here in Arizona. the Real ID story. Basically, if individuals here in Arizona want to fly or get into any sort of federal building or have an ID that is considered real by the federal government, they're going to have to get new IDs. Why? Well, Nicole Garcia has this story, and make sure if you guys have any questions to leave those in the YouTube chat to the right of the screen.
A dozen Arizona House lawmakers stood in the way of getting the Real ID bill passed, holding out against what they believe is federal intrusion.
In my own good conscience, I just can't cave in to this federal mandate.
The states are sovereign. They really need to start acting like it.
But the majority of lawmakers decided Arizonans should have the freedom to choose whether or not to get an ID card that meets federal standards.
We are a sovereign state, but we are in the United States. There are federal regulations that we deal with all the time.
The bill essentially eliminates a huge mess for Arizonans who travel by plane or want to get into federal buildings. Current Arizona ID cards do not meet federal requirements outlined by the Real ID Act, which was passed in 2005 while George W. Bush was president. Real IDs, like California's cards, are designed with elements that make it harder to counterfeit. Another requirement is that photos must be updated every 8 years. Right now in Arizona, photos need to be updated every 12 years.
This is not mandatory. This is for those who want to get this and volunteer for this new license.
ADOT will have to work with the Department of Homeland Security to figure out how to create cards compatible with the Real ID Act. The current deadline to switch to the new ID cards is January 1st, 2016, but ADOT will apply for a deadline waiver, which could give the state more time to implement the cards and Arizonans more time to get them.
Hi guys, I am just looking for the next story to share with you guys. What are you guys saying now? Samia, did you nail down your WE birthday plans yet? No, I have not nailed it down quite yet, but I will sort it out hopefully when I take a lunch break. I just haven't really had any time, and I've been fighting off what I thought was a cold, but I think it's allergies, so I've been kind of struggling this morning and yesterday evening. In terms of why we have this whole Real ID situation in the first place, well, according to the Department of Homeland Security, Real ID is a coordinated effort by the states and the federal government to improve the reliability and accuracy of state-issued identification documents. Basically, the goal of this is to inhibit terrorists' ability to evade detection by using fraudulent identification. So what Real ID basically does is it implements a 9/11 commission recommendation urging the federal government to set standards for the issuance of sources of ID, such as driver's license. The Real ID Act was put into place in 2005. It affects the 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the U.S. territories of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, American Samoa, and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. The current list of states from which a federal agency can the current list of states from which a federal agency may accept driver's license for an official purpose is actually most of the states in the country. I would say the only non-compliant states or territories in the country have been, or of the ones that are required, American Samoa, Arizona, Louisiana, Minnesota, New Hampshire, and New York. However, in Minnesota and in New York, federal officials may continue to accept the enhanced driver's licenses from those states. As far as New Hampshire is concerned, they have an expired extension and will be subject to enforcement beginning in January of this year. Rachel saying, I need a new ID then. What's the fee? This ID thing, it needs to be done, but it's a hassle. I have a friend who refused to even transfer over to the horizontal ID. She's going to hate this, Cal Kohler. Will everyone get one of the new driver's license when we renew or existing driver's licenses? These are all really good questions. I'm going to have to ask and find out. SK, was that your ID on the video? No comments. That is all I'm going to say, Jessica Ocampo. Alright. Billy Z. Cruz in Arizona has done highway ID checks for a few years. Actually wasn't the passenger beaten and tased at the ID checkpoint in Phoenix a few years back and won a big settlement. Just got my new one. It is now good for 10 years. Savannah Rose chiming in. Yeah, so these new IDs, I believe, are $15, and this is what you would need if you wanted to fly. Or you could bring your passport, which is already counted or considered a federal ID. So that's the update with the real ID story. Let's see, what else do I have for you guys? I have a couple of news stories that I want to share with you, but they're more talker stories, so I want to kind of wait for Ron. In the meantime, I want to let you guys know there's this robot competition, I believe at Grand Canyon University, and Celeste Rodriguez was there this morning for the morning show. We actually clipped her appearance on the morning show, so I want to share this with you. I think it's really cool. I'm kind of jealous. I would have wanted to go to this robotics competition. But since I can't physically go, I guess the second best thing is watching Celeste there. So, without further ado, here is that story.
Weird science. I love science. Love engineering. This is awesome. We've got kids from all over the valley right here at Grand Canyon University, and they're making things like this. Tell me, what is this you're working on?
Right here, what we're working on actually is our robot. It took about 6 weeks to make.
What does it do?
Really, what this robot does, as the basis of all robots, we create stacks using our nice. Is it all tethered up? Is it all tethered up?
So it works via this laptop over here, then and it looks like you got a game console as well. So what's going on? What are you working on here?
Okay, so this is our driver station, which controls the robot. Okay. So we connect our computer to the robot. Okay. And from there we connect. Operate it.
Can you turn it on for us?
Yes, I can. Here.
I love all the face paint, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell me, while we're waiting for him to turn this thing on, what do you love about working on this project?
It's just really fun to do. You know, we got 6 weeks. We have a hard, dedicated group of people coming all the time. People really love this club, you know, and it really just gives the students a chance to really do what they want to do in the future without being constrained in the classroom to being forced to do certain projects.
All right, good job. Well, Carol, tell me a little bit about this this competition here as we meander over to the other group that we want to chat with.
Actually, this is a FIRST robotics competition, and FIRST stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. It's a program that was started about 20 years ago by Dean Kamen, the guy who invented the Segway. He wanted kids to get excited about science, technology, engineering, and math, and what better way than building robots?
Absolutely. Okay, we want to show you guys this this one right here. So, where's my friend? Come on over. Let's chat about this one right here. So, let's get started and show us how it works.
Okay. By the way, the driver station's not here.
Oh, the driver station. We're waiting for one thing. Okay. All right. Well, we'll check it out in just a few minutes. Thank you. It's very cool, though. This is all kinds of high school kids here. They're competing for, to win this competition, and they get all kinds of cool scholarships as well, right?
Absolutely. Any kid on a FIRST robotics team is eligible to apply for over $20 million in scholarships. So that's a huge opportunity for them. They also get a chance to work with industry mentors. They learn all sorts of workforce development skills, teamwork, leadership. They learn how to build robots. What fun is that?
Yeah, no kidding. A lot of fun here at Grand Canyon University, guys. Back to you.
There's so many buttons to push between muting and not muting, and lots of buttons here in News Now. I want to know, were any of you guys involved in robotics in high school? I don't even remember my high school having any sort of robotics competition or robotics team. It's so unfamiliar to me, but it looks cool and interesting, and I feel like, I don't know, these are the kids that changed the future, I would assume. But let me know if you guys had a robotics team at your school, or if you guys were involved in this when you guys were in high school. It would be good to know. I'd be interested in hearing your stories. I want to scroll back up and I noticed a lot of you guys still chiming in on the ID story. All right. John Pershilly, I understand that, but will we automatically get the new one when we renew our driver's licenses? John, that is what I would assume if it goes into effect, but it appears that it has not become a mandatory thing, so I don't have the answer to that. I would have to ask someone who worked on that story to give you official confirmation. D. Burnside saying, when I renewed my driver's license last year, I had to show a birth certificate for the first time in 40 years. Joe Foley then saying, at the end of the day, it's only an ID. Don't know what's the big deal. Savannah saying, if it's in the Constitution, I support it. If not, it's an overreach. Kel Kohler, we shouldn't have to pay for it. Wait, do we have to pay for it? Yep, we do. Rachel saying, since I plan on traveling abroad, I need a passport anyway, so why not get an ID that meets federal regulations? Good point. D. Burnside, so basically you have to give up a freedom to get the freedom to fly. Did I get that right? It's funny. Jay Hastings looks like Joe Hastings was involved in robotics. He got a B+ on my freshman thesis on robotics. All right, I've finally gotten to the end of this chat. I'm going to move on to another story. All right. We've talked about the Real ID story. We've talked about Remain Brisbane. I should really print out my list. It would be a lot easier to just cross things off so I can keep track of everything. But I don't have that luxury right now. So I'm going to continue to just cross it off on my digital list. Okay, moving on. Some more stories that don't require another person to sit next to me and banter about. Well, here's an interesting story. This is out of New York. What they're doing to train firefighters and help them stay in shape. I think this was a really interesting story. Basically, the firefighters out in New York are staying in shape and staying in shape by using the equipment that's already there in the fire station. Let me pull this up. And before I do that, just a real quick answer. You don't have to get the ID, but if you ever plan on going onto a plane, you would need it unless you already have a passport. So there's your answer. You can always stick to your traditional ID. If you find that this new ID may be an invasion of privacy or whatever, then you're not forced to get it. All right, there's so many windows. Give me a second while I pull up this firefighter training story. All right, again, this is out of New York, and it's a pretty interesting story, so I wanted to go share this with you.
Here at New Brunswick's Engine 5, firefighters are getting into shape using just the equipment already in the firehouse.
The fitter the firefighter is, the better they're going to be at their job to serve the public that we protect.
Lieutenant Robert Paparo and the nonprofit 555 Fitness are helping firefighters around the country improve their health.
Vascular, muscle endurance, fast pace. It basically mimics being in a fire.
But it can be helpful for non-firefighters too.
On our Instagram page, we have workouts that almost have zero equipment. So they can do these workouts, full body workouts in a very short amount of time and get fitter on their own and almost be what we're hearing like firehouse fit.
Of course, September 11th remains an indelible memory, and 555 Fitness has created a workout to remember each of the 343 FDNY firefighters who died.
Every rep you do is for that firefighter who lost their life that day.
That was an interesting story, right? Using your fire gear as a way to work out. I'm going to go back and check the chat window again. Billy Z. Cruising 69. Did you talk about Menendez, Samia? No, I didn't. What else? are you guys saying? Patrick Renfro, Billy, who is this Menendez you are talking about? Menendez is a politician out of New Jersey, Patrick. Billy Z. Cruz, Menendez indictment, 3 girlfriends, 7 lavishers, more than $750,000. Keep saying trial, I mean indictment. Jay Hastings, happy early birthday, saw me since we won't see you tomorrow. Thank you, Jay Hastings. Rachel Favela, fireman with the emoji with the hearts in the eyes. Zena Angel, echoing Rachel's thoughts. Oh my, I love firemen. PFC Eversoul chiming in, the leading cause of death for firefighters in the line of duty is sudden cardiac death. I would sure hope so. They have to be helping people who outweigh them and sometimes are double their weight. Wow. Billy Z. Cruz, and then copying and pasting some information. Senator Robert Menendez pleaded not guilty on Thursday to 14 criminal counts against him, including 8 counts of bribery in his dealings with Solomon Melgen, a Florida ophthalmologist. That was his friend that he supposedly helped out while in office. Okay. What else do I have for you guys? What story do you want to share with you guys now? Well, here's this next story. This is a really interesting story, I thought. I don't know which one to share with you, actually. Well, I guess we'll lighten things up. We'll go back into serious news in a few minutes, but to give you guys a more lighthearted feel, this story is interesting. It's prom season. Prom is around the corner. Personally, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd like to know if you guys spend a lot of money on prom, because prom apparently costs people now like more than $1,000 on average, and that's insane to me. I do not remember spending nearly that amount, maybe a fraction of that amount. Again, maybe it was just because I was a girl, or maybe things are becoming just super lavish now because of social media and the fact that you need to like have an elaborate proposal or like asking someone out on YouTube, or you have to have something that the girl can then Instagram about. Which reminds me actually of this classic quote on Fox's Mindy Project. It was said by Mindy in a couple episodes ago, and I personally love this quote. The line was, I want someone to love, or I want to be, I'm going to ruin it. Hold on. I'm going to actually have to pull it up because I did tweet it and I thought it was amazing. And I need to pull it up because I don't want to mess this up. Stand by. Oh, there it is. Okay, this is what was said. I want you to love me in a way I can show on Instagram. And I thought it was very well said by Mindy Kaling. It was funny, but I think it was an accurate reflection of society. So, that being said, I want to share with you this video about prom. In fact, the way a unique prom proposal went down, the only hint I'm going to give you is that it involved goats. I guess you'll have to watch and see for yourself.
I love any kind of attention. Gerald is a Nigerian dwarf.
And he's a little wild.
Dottie is a mini silky feigning goat.
And she's pretty chill. The 1-month-old goats live a comfy life on Whispering Hope Farm, and they're not bad at setting up couples.
It was just kind of weird because we've never really had a request like that before.
They're usually used for birthday parties and petting zoos, but on Monday they had a special assignment.
I've always liked doing like creative stuff.
When my friend drove me over, it was kind of suspicious. She was like, close your eyes.
I'd always like to do creative things for dances and like dance proposals.
We went downhill. I almost tripped on something.
I had my mind set on goats.
Not in a million years, but I thought he'd have goats in his hands.
Lauren Lucas is going to prom with Drew Emerine. Thanks, of course, to a little help from Dottie and Gerald. The creative proposal came after an inside joke between them, and thus setting the bar high for teens everywhere.
Since he asked so early, like so many of the guys now are like, oh, I have to think of an awesome way, you know.
It will be tough to top Drew's proposal. If you're wondering, the two are just friends and are going to different colleges next year. But you could say things are goating pretty well for them right now.
Oh my god, that little goat at the end was the cutest goat ever. It kind of made me want to have a goat. I just want to pull up this picture of the goat again because it's so cute. Hold on. I'm obsessed. Let's just look at this goat for a minute. Who wouldn't want this goat? I think it's so cute. I kind of want the goat to visit news now, like we had the bear visit news now, because that goat looks so, like, lovable and soft. I don't know. That's just my take on that little goat and the goat story. I actually want to know if you guys have any interesting stories from prom, any crazy prom proposal stories that you have been a part of or that you've heard about. Do you think prom proposals are ridiculous? Do you think spending over $1,000 on prom is ridiculous? Let me know what you guys think, because personally I think spending that much money on prom is ridiculous, especially because the people going to prom are 16, 17, 18 years old. And also, knowing how relationships turn out, there's a very high likelihood that this person will be someone you date, maybe, but there's a very high likelihood that this isn't the person you're going to marry. And so spending over $1,000 on one night, in my opinion, is a little excessive. But that's just me. Katrina saying, oh no, I would never spend that much for prom. I rented a dress. My boyfriend drove me, no limos. We ate at a nice restaurant, but even that was less than $100. Let's see. Jessica chiming in, my senior prom sucked. I don't talk about it. That's how I feel about my junior prom. Senior prom was okay. I just went and hung out with a lot of my friends. Rachel Favela, is this the goats? Yes, baby goats. Oh my god, baby goats. Oh, he is so cute. Savannah Rose chiming in. Yep, they are very cute. Linda, I love goats. Savannah wants them. Everyone really enjoying the appearance of goats. Rachel now chiming in on the prom topics I proposed. Promposals are ridiculous. Katrina Fletcher, oh no, I would have never spent that much for prom. Yeah, I know. It's kind of amazing. Just renting a dress, boyfriend driving, eating at a nice restaurant, still all under $100. That's the thing. Like, what are these kids doing that they're spending like over $1,100, $1,200? Another interesting story was like trending on Facebook, I think, earlier this week. But like impoverished homes or people, I think, at the poverty line, like poorer families end up spending, I think, almost twice as much as wealthy families spend on prom, which to me is just it's all crazy. So prom nights have found their way over the pond. Joe Foley chimes in. Jay Hastings also chiming in. Parents are spoiling their kids. $1,000 is stupid. Savannah Rose chiming in, when my date and I went to dinner, people gave us congrats on our wedding. The theme was Ice Baby and way too expensive. My grandpa owned the limo, but the peppermill was very pricey. Huh. PFC Ebersole, back in my day, was more like posters, candles, and that type of stuff. Yeah, even I don't remember anyone getting proposed to in any sort of epic way, a little over a decade ago. I don't remember that in high school. I don't remember anyone bragging. I really feel like social media is to blame for why people have to have these epic prom proposals that involve goats. I love this goat, though. I kind of want this goat. I would want a goat. I'd probably go to someone's prom if they gave me a goat. It is really cute. Savannah Rose, I flew my daughter to Tucson for her boyfriend's prom. That's so kind of you, Savannah. Billy Z. Cruz, and poorer families spend less on food than wealthy families because healthier options are far more costly. That's interesting, Billy Z. Cruz. But we're saying that the poorer families end up spending much more money on prom than wealthy families do. What's your take on that? Nancy Carpenter, I'm too old to remember prom, haha. Jonathan Blinn is having an issue with news now in the playback error. I will, hopefully, our techie Jeff, who is watching right now, will be able to help fix that. I do see that he is on a conference call right now, so not sure if he's able to fix any of the technical glitches that you're experiencing, Jonathan, but hopefully we will resolve that soon. PFC Ebersol, I graduated in 2003. Back in my day, it was more like posters, candles, and that type of stuff for promposals. Well, PFC Ebersol, it looks like we are part of the same generation. I am with you on this. Savannah Rose, needless to say, I've spent my fair share on prom costs with 3 kids. Yeah, I don't know. Again, that's my take. I don't think people should spend that much money on prom. But I will say, before I move on to the next story, that goat is super cute. Okay, moving on to the next story. I'm going to stick with the whole proposal thing since we're already talking about promposals, and share with you this story, well, this clip rather, from our morning show. So this has to do with this couple's save the date card. Well, it wasn't a card, it was a video. They created this epic save the date video. It was a video that was on our morning show earlier this week. Andrea and Rick were really big fans. So this morning they actually spoke to the creators, the bride and groom, I guess the couple, the fiancés behind this epic save the date video. And I'm going to play that for you now in case you missed it this morning or aren't local and never saw it in the first place.
Welcome back. Amazing Race winner Tyler McNiven doesn't lead an ordinary life, you know.
Nope.
He's an adventurer for sure. Yes.
He is. This is the coolest thing ever. Okay, so his marriage, of course, will be no different. He and his fiancée, Kelly Hennigan, have just created an epic save-the-date action movie. Not a magnet for your refrigerator,
no.
A movie.
When we first showed this on Tuesday, we were blown away, right?
Totally blown away.
The spectacular engagement video called Operation Save the Date shows the soon-to-be groom and fiancée, Kelly Hennigan, literally rescuing their wedding date from a gang of Google sporting...
Goggle.
Oh, sorry. So used to seeing Google.
I agree. But they are. I
got these new contact lenses, and I can read the teleprompter perfectly. Goggles sporting bad guys.
It's great. This whole movie is awesome. So, how did this over-the-top save the date come together? The happy couple is joining us on the phone this morning. Hi, Tyler. Hi, Kelly.
Hello.
Hello. We are in love with this. This is so awesome.
Thank you.
Now, let me just go to the big question we want to know immediately when we first saw it. What's the wedding going to be like?
Well, our wedding coordinator is Michael Bay, so it should be over the top. We are going to have all of our guests sign liability waivers because explosions and danger. But no, in all seriousness, our wedding is going to be a lot of fun, but we are going to have, instead of a cake cutting, we'll have a cake exploding. And there's a few other antics and shenanigans that we've gotten.
We're going to keep them fun surprises, too.
Oh, okay. So how long did this take to put together?
We actually did all the filming in one day, and Tyler's really good at editing, and he just did some casual editing over the course of 2 weeks. And, it came together pretty quickly.
But really, it's the culmination of a lifetime of searching for each other, then finding each other. So,
That's wonderful. So, obviously, you didn't want to do, like Andrea referred to, the calendar magnet or anything like that. You wanted to make it spectacular. How many people did you send this out to, or how did they get to see it? Did you put it online, or how did that work?
Yeah, it's funny. We emailed it on Sunday to the people that we're inviting to the wedding, and then a friend of mine put it on his San Francisco blog, and then it got put on the bigger San Francisco blog, and then it got put on the biggest San Francisco blog, and then it started getting put on national blogs, and then we've even been getting emails from. We just got an email this morning from a UK TV show that wants to feature us on the sketch. We're having a hoot.
Yeah, we're writing it out.
Writing it out.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
There is a universe where YouTube ad revenue pays for our wedding, and we're wondering is that this universe?
Oh, we're not sure. That's a great possibility.
I
but
like
here's
your
what
thinking.
this is what I'm worried about,
What?
you guys. Now that everybody has seen this around the world, are they all going to show up for your wedding?
They all think they're invited now.
Yeah.
Everyone's invited. Come on down.
Everyone's invited if you can find the address.
Yeah.
Well, we're hoping that it'll be hard to find.
By the way, when is the date?
Wait, did you watch the video?
At the end, wasn't it September?
I didn't see the date.
I thought did it say September? I can't remember now.
September 26th.
Okay, yeah.
That's right.
Perfect
I
time
remember
to get married. All right, you guys, we wish you all of the best, and promise us this, that you'll somehow, through the internet, keep in touch. We want to see what the wedding is like pictures or video or something like that, because we feel like we know you, and we're a part of this now.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
I wanna
many
see-
years of happiness.
Yeah. We'll keep you posted, and thanks so much. You guys keep having a great time out there, and you're the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, no, there's a Google of bad guys at our door. We gotta go get them.
A Google-eyed guy.
A Google bad guys.
I want to see the exploding cake.
I do, too.
I've seen things come out of a cake before, but
That was a different kind of party you
Different kind,
attended. Was that a birthday party back in the day?
Hi guys, sorry, we changed some of the things up here, so I have to press more buttons now every time I play a video. So that's why I'm more looking there and not at you guys right now. I want to read some of your comments from that video that I just played. Cherokee, what a great video. Those two will have not just have a great wedding, but a great married life. Having fun with each other is a great foundation. Absolutely, it was super fun. Rachel Favela, super creative. It's great to see they make each other so happy and can have something cool and memorable. Savannah saying, okay, I have to admit this is better than the dancing, singing wedding parties. Going back to the prom discussion, Kel Kohler saying, I never went to prom. Don't think I cared. It may have been on the same day as the X-Files was on, so that might be it. Well, Kel Kohler, you must be very excited then the X-Files is coming back. So there you go. You'll probably be missing many more future occasions because of the X-Files. Let's see. John Hoffman, proms and weddings are way overpriced. Billy Z. Cruz, I never went. My daughter never wanted to go, so I got lucky. Jay Hastings commenting on Operation Save the Date, saying that's funny and original. John Hoffman chiming in, their divorce will be the sequel. Aw, John. And let's see. Samia, will we see a cool save the date video? Wink, wink. Rachel. I think that answers it. Alright, guys. Well, that was that video. Let me see what else I have in my archives. I have a couple other videos to share with you here on News Now. Not really sure where Ron Hoon is. There are so many stories I want to get to, but I'm waiting for Ron to be here so I can actually have an engaging conversation or something. So don't worry. I noticed that a couple of you guys had talked about the sailor that was missing since January, who is now found. A lot of you guys chatting about it. That was also on my list of things to talk about. I was going to wait for Ron before I discussed it, but I saw that you guys were talking about it already, so I figure now that you guys have brought it up and now that I've brought it up, there's no reason to wait for Ron. We should just talk about it now. So the sailor who had been missing since January was found. South Carolina man found yesterday afternoon on the capsized hull of his sailboat about 200 miles east of Cape Hatteras. It's kind of insane because this guy, 37-year-old Lewis Jordan, told his rescuers and TV reporters that he'd been catching and eating fish to survive. He also told reporters overnight that he drank rainwater Wow, he was forced to bail water out of the boat with one hand and arm because of the shoulder injury to his other arm. Wow, he was saying, I was just praying about you because I was afraid that you guys were crying and sad that, I was dead. He told his dad, which is so amazing. Honestly, this is absolutely an amazing story. Jordan did worry that he was going to die out in the ocean, but then he saw the German ship. He waved his hand and blew a whistle. When he finally saw the rear of the boat turning, he thought, oh, wow, this is it. This is so crazy. So he was last seen January 23rd, and his dad called the Coast Guard on January 29th when he hadn't heard from his son. And at that time, his dad just wanted to see whether the Coast Guard had worked any cases that may have involved his son. There wasn't any. Then on February 7th, his mother called the Coast Guard because her son hadn't checked in. I guess his mom had told the Coast Guard that he had said that he was going into the open water to sail and do some fishing. And that was the last they had heard from him up until his rescue. It's just an amazing story of survival, of rescue, of hope, So often we hear these stories about people missing this or that, and it ends in a tragedy. For example, that story we brought you here last week on News Now, the individual, the Berkeley student who went to USC, attended a frat party, was reported missing, and it turns out he was killed that night of the party by going on the freeway. So we hear a lot of stories like that. So when we hear some story like this where a man, survived for more than 2 months, on the open sea, it's crazy. It's amazing. So really think this story is just amazing. That's the only way to really effectively describe it. What are you guys saying? Oh, wow, Billy Z. Cruzen, student that hung the news from a tree at Duke, came forward. Billy Z. Cruzen, thanks for that update. I heard about that. That was just really a disturbing thing to see. PFC Ebersol, well, I'm going to get some work done. Talk to you guys later. Have a great weekend. PFC Ebersol, thanks for joining us. I hope you return later this afternoon for our afternoon edition of News Now. D. Burnside, when I get married again, it will be by the captain on a cheap cruise. Just me and him, wedding and honeymoon all in one. Jessica, I will answer all of your questions. You guys are so kind, but tweet me because that has to do with my personal life. It has nothing to do with news, so I will not be discussing it here on News Now. Cal Kohler, my husband and I went to the courthouse downtown because we were too cheap for anything else. Haha. Maddie Mason, I just said hello to myself on the next feed. That's hilarious. Cal Kohler, having kids is a bigger decision than getting married. You can't take that back. That's why I only have cats and dogs. Looks like Jonathan Blinn is still having computer issues. I'm looking at Jeff right now. Jeff is involved in a very important conversation, so it still looks like he is not tending to any sort of technical issues. Hopefully he will be able to help you out, Jonathan, in a couple of minutes. And yeah, it looks like I am back at the latest in the chat. Okay, well, I think I've played almost every story that I have for you guys that doesn't require some epic discussion with another person. How about this? I know what story I'm going to play with you. I actually wanted to play with this for you yesterday, but I didn't get time to. This is a story. It's part of the description of this YouTube chat. No bunnies for Easter. No, this is a story. Kristen actually went out and did this story, I think, yesterday morning. And it has to do with this idea that even though parents, family, friends, whatever, think giving a little kid a bunny rabbit as their Easter gift is the way to go, it is not the way to go. And you may be asking why. Well, I have that for you here. Listen in on this. Well, here's the story. Here's some of the bunnies while I talk about it. They're really cute if you see how cute the rabbits are. So even though the rabbits are cute, and they're fun to look at. They are very high maintenance pets, and you don't necessarily want to give a child a pet that they can't take care of in the long run. So we're going to listen in on this interview that Kristen did yesterday.
We have a nationwide campaign called Make Mine Chocolate that was promoted by all rabbit rescues across the country so that people do not buy live rabbits for their children at Easter.
And why is it not a great idea to get live rabbits at Easter?
Because rabbits are high maintenance pets. They can scratch, they can bite and growl, and they're just not good pets for children.
Okay, so some of the rabbits here, talk about some of them, they come from pretty bad situations.
Yes, some of them do. They're really the lucky ones, though, because so many bunnies that people don't want, they get rid of and they don't take care of them. So, yes, that's true. That's very true.
And so if you do want to have a bunny as a pet or a rabbit as a pet, what should you be prepared for?
You have to be prepared for a 10-year commitment. They're very high-maintenance animals. They require special food. They require special housing. They can't be outside. They can't tolerate temperatures above 85 degrees. So you should go on to the rabbit websites and check them out and get a lot of information and prepare yourself. It's a 10 to 12-year commitment, basically.
Yes, if you're not ready for it.
Yes, don't do it.
Okay, so tell me about the story of the little bunny in there. What happened?
Oh, he was an Easter bunny. He was bought for a child at Easter, wasn't taken care of properly, and now he's been brought into us, and he's going to require very, very expensive medical care.
So if you could give one message to people at home this Easter, what would that be?
Do not buy your child a rabbit. Buy them a chocolate rabbit or a stuffed animal. And if you as an adult want a pet, go on a website, do your due diligence, and be prepared.
Look at Kristen as you answer this. I'm going to ask you it one more time. You kind of already went over it, but give us the laundry list. We always see these cute pictures of kids and bunnies, but they really don't mix. And just give me the laundry list of why. They really, it's not a great idea.
It's just not a great idea. Children frighten rabbits, and a frightened rabbit will scratch. It will bite. Like I said, they require a tremendous amount of care that children aren't ready to give. The child is bored with the rabbit in a week, and if you get a stuffed animal or a chocolate rabbit, it's just so much better.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to add that we didn't cover?
Just please don't buy your child a rabbit at Easter. And if you're interested in getting a bunny as an adult or for your family, contact a rabbit rescue, our rabbit rescue, BrambleyHedgeRabbitRescue.org, and figure out exactly if you're ready for this commitment.
Okay, so I just watched that. I had no idea what kind of commitment a rabbit was. I mean, the woman there in that interview, what she says makes sense, though. I mean, when you give a real rabbit as a gift, it's not just a weekend commitment. It's not something you just throw away or eat like a chocolate or, eventually donate like a stuffed animal. That's a big commitment when they live like 12, 14 years. So really something to think about. A lot of you guys chiming in on the bunny story as well. Billy Z. Cruz and say, my daughter got a rabbit when she was 16 and I ended up taking care of it. That's the whole point that they're trying to make with this story, is that the idea of a bunny seems cool, the idea of a rabbit seems neat, but in the long run, it's something that you really have to take seriously, because you can't just commit to something like that and not actually take on the responsibility. So Katrina Fletcher chiming in, I've raised bunnies. They require a lot of attention and could kick your butt if you tick them off. Funny. Ashley Gray wants a bunny. Jay Hastings demands free the bunnies. Billy Z. Cruisin talking more about the rabbit that he had to raise because his daughter did not raise it. I bought it field greens and rabbit food, and when that thing bit me, I told her it has to go. Savannah Rose, I bought Cam one back in '96, but we kept her as a member of the family. However, as much as we love Sophie, I won't be doing it again, even for a grandchild. Billy Z. Cruz and adding, oddly, the rabbit wanted nothing to do with carrots. I know, I feel like it's just a stereotype that rabbits like carrots. Do rabbits really like carrots, or is that something that Bugs Bunny just made us believe? Rachel's saying, I had a few and they scratch and thump and bite. I don't know how people think they are good as Easter pets. Savannah Rose reminds me of Stupid Beaver and his monkey. Have you all heard that story yet? Wow. Sherry Keena managed to talk my son out of a bunny, but now he wants a fox. People want foxes? I don't think you can keep a fox as a pet either. Patrick Warnfo also wants a fox. Steve C. chiming in, a rabbit ain't no gerbil. Ashley Gray saying, my grandma runs sort of a small ferret rescue, except she turns them all into pets. That's funny. Looks like you guys are also talking about the roast of Justin Bieber. Martha Stewart being your favorite. Zena Angel, Ashley Gray saying Martha was her favorite as well. Katrina Fletcher, and every year we see loose chickens because of the Easter chicks. Oh, Katrina's saying that it's not just a myth. Rabbits do love carrots. Her rabbits love carrots. Savannah Rose saying no, they like strawberries. Joe Foley saying rabbits shouldn't eat lettuce. My saying ban the bunnies, bring the llamas. Good old llamas. Katrina chiming in, Joe, they can eat lettuce, just not iceberg because of the higher water content and no nutritional value. Jay Hastings, I've got a wild rabbit in my yard and feed it lettuce a couple of times a week. Oh, Jay, so it's almost like you have a pet rabbit, but it's with less responsibility, I suppose. Okay, well, that was our rabbit conversation. Let's hop on over to another subject. Okay, that's my pun for the morning. Let's see, what else do I have for you guys? We have the bunny story. Well, since we're talking about animals, I have this topic that I labeled sexual panda, which makes no sense. This is another story that I thought would have been a good talker, and I still think it's a good talker whether I have someone next to me to talk to or not. So this story, it was trending on my Facebook page, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to share this story with my News Now viewers because it's super entertaining. So basically, it's a story about a Chinese panda named Lulu who is now famous because of a record-breaking sex session. Apparently, these pandas mated for 7 minutes and 45 seconds, nearly 8 minutes long. That's apparently a record-breaking intercourse session for pandas. Now this panda has been given the nickname the Enduring Brother. And some have even said that this panda lasts longer in bed than the average American male. This panda was in this happened in China. So Lulu and partner Zenzen mated for almost 8 minutes. That set the record for the year at the Sichuan Giant Panda Research Center. Wow. Now, according to research printed by the Daily Dot, this Chinese panda lasts longer than the average American man in bed, with your typical New Mexico man making love for just over 7 minutes, and this panda hitting 7 minutes and 45 seconds. The average length of a romp between two pandas typically is between 30 seconds and 5 minutes. In case you're wondering how long pandas typically mate for. This is so interesting, how pandas mate. So I'm going to read this to you. They use poles made of bamboo to guide the pandas toward each other, the people that run this Panda Research Center. When they have figured out that the pandas are in a amorous mood. The female pandas are prone to making loud and strange noises, while male pandas leave traces of their scent to attract the opposite sex. But apparently timing is everything because the female pandas are in heat only once a year for between 2 and 4 days. Mating season for pandas usually begins in March and lasts until May. And I'm just very entertained. And I'm looking at some of these pictures of the pandas mating. I think it's funny, but I'm not going to share it here with you on News Now because it would just be kind of weird to share with you guys, but I'm sure you can Google it. Okay. What's your guys' take on this panda story? I'm very interested in your take. Color, go panda, you get it, panda. Deborah, this story is creepy. Ashley Gray says, maybe somebody slipped the panda Viagra. Billy Z. Cruisin chiming in. 8 minutes. Who's done in 8 minutes? Jay Hastings. 8 minutes. That panda's a machine. Panda Express. Jarrell. Funny. Joe Foley saying pandas suck at reproducing though. This is funny. Yesterday it was sad animals, today it's panda porn. Hey guys, it's not that I just go outside looking for these stories. I happened to see it because it was trending on Facebook. You know how Facebook on the very right side of the screen lists the stories that are trending for that morning or that day? I saw it, I clicked, I was intrigued, I had to share. Ashley Gray, male pandas only have 2 to 4 days a year to get some. Rachel saying, that's horrible, poor pandas, no wonder they look so sad all the time. You guys are funny. This is pretty entertaining, you guys. I hope you were entertained by that story. Let me see what else I have for you. I've played almost every story. Well, since we're still on the animal thing, I'm going to continue with this animal theme. This is a story that Anita did yesterday. Let me pull this up. It is about a cat or a kitten that was found in a truck.
Angelo Almendarez was on the job last Friday, collecting the recycled items along his route near 91st Avenue and Grand when he heard something odd in the back.
I just got out of the truck after my first break and I heard some kind of meowing in the back.
Among the paper, plastic, and other recyclables, a kitten.
When I looked in here, right in here was the little cat where we found him, and so I called my boss and we brought it in.
They think he's just a couple weeks old. Ginger Lundy, an administrative assistant, heard the story and decided to adopt the tabby. She's bottle feeding him at the office until he can eat on his own.
Super, super cute. Just little furry ball. Here's what's interesting. This isn't the first kitten the employee has rescued.
Last summer, we had 3 of them that I found in the same area, in the same chute, too.
Angelo is just glad he heard the cries when he did, hopeful this is the last time he has to make a rescue like this on the job. Anita Roper, Fox 10 News.
Yay, another cute animal story. I feel like we've done a lot of animal stories this morning. I'm just reading some of your comments. Well, I hope you like that kitten story, guys. Let's see. A lot of my stories today were built around the fact that I was going to have someone sitting next to me to discuss the stories with. Unfortunately, that is not the case right now, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about some of the stories I had planned for you. Here's an interesting story. This is an article I saw online this morning, and I clicked it mostly because I commute on a daily basis to work. And I personally feel like I have a lengthy commute. And so when I saw the headline that said 5 ways your commute is hurting your health, I had to click. So, according to the U.S. Census data, American commute to work lasts an average of 25 minutes. But in different cities, it's obviously more. In LA, drivers spend an average of 90 hours a year stuck in traffic. And in New York, they spend an average of 48 minutes a day getting to work, often switching trains or buses along the way. Apparently, commuting is not only an inconvenience in terms of the amount of time it takes up, but it's also an inconvenience because it can have physical and mental health implications. Now, these are the ways commuting is bad for you. It may contribute to weight gain. A 2012 study published by the American Journal of Preventive Medicine found that the farther Texas residents commuted every day, the more likely they were to be overweight. Unsurprisingly, the farthest commuters were also less likely to get the recommended amount of daily physical activity. I feel like that's true, and I get it. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're sitting so long in the car. I think it has to do with the fact that because you have to spend so much time commuting, whether it's in the morning or after work you're too tired to work out. And before work, when you might have the energy to work out, instead you're using that time to get ready because you have to leave extra early because you still need to make it on time with everyone else. So I understand that. All right. The second reason, it's a pain in the neck, literally. A third of people with commutes of more than 90 minutes say they deal with ongoing neck and back pain, according to a 2010 Gallup poll. While back pain is one of the most common health complaints, only 1 in 4 people who commute 10 minutes or less reported pain in the same poll. The extra time spent sitting slumped forward in the driver's seat or on the train could contribute to those issues, says Andrew Wolf, an exercise physiologist in Tucson. But making an effort to sit up straight with your lumbar support behind your lower back and your head evenly over your shoulders can help you reverse bad habits. It's a lifestyle choice that requires that you think about it a bit every day. You know what? I should probably get a chair with a back on it because I feel like my posture here is being affected. I don't really know if I can file for workman's compensation for a bad back as a result of the chair that I sit on at News Now, but it's a thought. All right, another way the commute is hurting your health, it affects your mood. People who drove, carpooled, or took public transportation to work were less able to enjoy daily activities and had more trouble concentrating than walkers or cyclists. Interesting. But the opposite held true for walkers. Those who traveled farther to work but on foot had better mental health scores. This is very interesting, especially because I do commute a lot. Maybe I should just walk to work. It would probably take me 5 hours, but at least I'd be healthy. Also, number 4, the way your commute is hurting your health, it stresses you out. People who commute by private car, no matter how long the trip, or those whose trip lasts longer than 30 minutes by train, bus, or on foot, had higher anxiety levels compared to people who made shorter trips. Interesting. Research also found that the longer people's car commutes were, the more likely they were to have elevated blood pressure, even when controlled for physical activity level. Interesting. Oh, and then the 5th reason it's bad for your health, it exposes you to more pollution. In a 2007 study of LA residents, up to half of their exposure to harmful air pollution occurred while they traveled in their cars. Driving with the windows up, using recirculated air, and driving slower than 20 miles per hour can reduce exposure, but not as much as cutting back on driving time. So, those are the 5 ways that commuting is affecting your health. Katrina Fletcher currently has an hour commute. She can't stand it. That is a really long commute, Katrina. Billy Z. Cruisin was lucky, always had a quick drive to work in Scottsdale. Lucky you. Let's see. Ashley Gray, my drive to work is anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes, depending on traffic. Mine as well, Ashley Gray, and I do not a fan of the commute. Steve C. Commutes also lead to or contribute to excessive questioning of your life. Good one, Steve C. Billy Z. Cruz and saying, I hate when hair, makeup, and wardrobe make me late for things. Yeah, for real. Jay Hastings, I agree. Saw me tired, then don't feel like working out. Absolutely. Once you have a commute, I mean, I experience it firsthand. Once I commute and I get home, I'm exhausted. And if I stay at work late to then beat traffic, I'm still tired because I'm still getting home really late. Like yesterday, I got home at like after 7 p.m., which is insane because, you know, it's like basically suggesting that, it's basically like I hadn't been home in 11 and a half hours. Do you find you hunch more than you used to, Billy Z. Cruz? I don't know. I just feel like I should have some good posture, and I'm hunching to be over here. Yeah. Rachel Favela, nah, I'm too lazy for good posture. I'm tall enough, and my posture is bad for looking down while talking. Request an executive chair with the back, Samia. Izzy Guy. You know what? I would like that, Izzy Guy. Thank you for the suggestion. Ashley Gray chiming in. Driving definitely raises my blood pressure. I don't trust anyone on the road. Maybe because drivers in Arizona stress me the heck out. Rachel chiming in. Driving here sucks. Deborah LeBron, the worst driving I've ever seen has been in Boston. I agree with you, Deborah. Boston drivers are terrible. But also the streets in Boston, in my opinion, make no sense. Because the Boston roads, they basically just turned what were like, paths for people who are walking and horses. And they just turned those into roads without any sort of like proper infrastructure grid system. Ashley Gray, what brand of eyelash? I will also answer any personal questions that you have for me. You can tweet me them. If it is not news related, I'm not answering it here on News Now. Sorry. Zena Angel, I missed seeing my granddaughter last night because of the accident. Had 60 and 10 closed. They had no way to get here unless it took 3 hours. Yes, Zena, we covered that story here on News Now. 4 or 5 vehicles involved. Really, really bad crash. Obviously affected traffic majorly and also affected people's lives as well. I mean, you weren't able to see your granddaughter because of it. So sorry about that unfortunate situation. Maribel Regaldo, I used to drive from Sun City to Mesa every day for work. Wow, that is really far. For those of you who understand, it's like from one end to the other, or from this end to this end. Did it for 2 years and was always stressed and very drained. I would be stressed and drained if I were you, Maribel. Sherry Kina, 6-minute commute for me. Gotta love small cities. Absolutely amazing. You know what? I actually had like a 6 to 8 minute commute in Los Angeles, which is pretty much the most unheard of thing ever. I was living the dream. Most people have crazy commutes out there. John Priscilli, I used to drive from Mayor to Paradise Valley every day. It took me about 50 minutes each way. That is too long. There is no exercise, Katrina chiming in. When you are home so little, the time you do have has to be spent cleaning the house and handling important things. Oh my gosh, Katrina, so true. The last few days I have just been cleaning. I'm with you, Katrina, absolutely. Billy Z. Cruz in Phoenix streets are basically an alphanumeric grid, so getting lost in Phoenix is kind of hard. Very true. Joe Foley, when I was in Boston, it seemed there were tolls everywhere. Boston traffic is terrible. John Hoffman adds, yep. Steve C, me too. Ashley saw me. Should show the video. I don't know which video you're talking about, Steve C. Okay, well, I've gotten through most of your comments. Let me see if I have any other stories for you. If I don't, then I'm going to have to call it a morning. I know I typically wrap up news now about an hour from now, but I may have gone through every single story, which is crazy because I have more stories scheduled today than I have scheduled for any other day. It's just that I guess you got through stories quicker when you're talking to yourself. It's like, all right, well, there's this, and then there's this, and then there's this. Okay. Let me see if I have any other stories for you guys. I do. I have one story. It's in the headline of this, but I really wanted it to be a conversation to have with another person. Not that you guys aren't people. I just, there's that 30, 40-second delay, so the banter back and forth isn't as accurate. So I am going to ask you guys right now. I'm talking about the news reports that the NFL has its first female officiator. Want to know your take on it. Since there is a 30-second delay, by the time I ask this question, I will already be looking to you for the answers to that question. Want to know your take on it. I saw this trending on Twitter this morning, and that's how I learned about it. I actually didn't know about it until I saw the name Sarah Thomas trending. So Sarah Thomas is the first full-time female official. I'll show you guys a picture. That is the woman we are talking about. Sarah Thomas, NFL hires first-time female official. I'm going to read this article to you now. Line judge Sarah Thomas among 8 new officials selected by the NFL for the 2015 season, meaning she's the first female permanent game official in league history. Wow. The NFL spokesperson did not confirm the hiring of Thomas and said the league is still finalizing its roster of officials. Okay, so this is what's rumored. This is what's being reported. Hi, Ron. I'm almost done with the show. Welcome back.
Oh, gosh.
That was the longest. You're like, I'm going to be gone for 5 minutes.
Oh, well, the meeting went to 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have I have this thing I do on the Sunday morning show, which is a recap of the Chris Wallace interview. Oh, which I meant to have them clip that for you. Really good interview today. Really interesting. And then, this
Dancer Ron.
Dancer Ron was invited to a pre-release, shall we say, of our new music video. They were just showing it to us over, so we had to have a meeting about that.
Well, that's neat. And you didn't bring it to us to watch?
Well, it's what they call a rough cut. I don't think it's quite yet ready for air.
Isn't all of news now just a rough cut? Isn't all of news now not ready for air?
So, yeah, that's such a good comeback because
it's true.
All my TV people over here, all my friends, they would say, oh, totally got it. And you're like, that's what we do. We do rough cuts.
That's what
We're live for hours.
Well, I've literally gone through every story that I had.
Well, really? So
the only story that's left that you can chime in on is the fact that the NFL has hired its first female official ever.
I saw that was on your list.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it.
I saw it. It was trending on Twitter. That's the only reason I knew, because I saw the name Sarah Thomas was trending. I was like, who's Sarah Thomas?
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah Thomas is the female official that has been hired by the NFL to be the first full-time female official, according to a report. No NFL official has confirmed that she is the new official.
So this all leaked.
Yes,
well,
and everyone's talking about it on the internet. All the news agencies are tweeting about it, reporting it. So that is the latest. What do you think about this?
Number one, I love it. Number two, why not? They already have female officials in the NBA.
They do?
Yeah, so why not in the NFL? Not very many, just one or two, I think. But then, it's a breakthrough, and that part's good. But the other part about it is, they can't be any worse than what they got right now. Oh, man. Some of the calls these guys make.
Let's see. I think it's a great NFL has a first female official as long as she isn't texting on the field. Jay Hastings. Zing. Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, that'll be the new way they do it. It used to be, up until I think just this last year, that anytime there was a replay, the ref had to jog on over to the sideline and go onto this booth, this hood, while all the fans are screaming, yelling, going crazy. And he's like trying to slide a cursor back and forth, in this little booth. Who knows if it's raining or snowing or whatever. And so this last year, the NFL said, we can definitely do better than this. So they set up a system where it goes to headquarters in New York, and you've got guys who are professional in front of a bunch of monitors, and they see it as good as we see it on 70-inch screens or something, and they can make sure they get it right. So
because not making the right call is the thing that pisses fans off the most.
I would say, yeah.
Let's see. Chirikina chiming in. As long as the official calls a fair game, shouldn't care what gender they are. Joe
Sure.
Foley, I don't see the big deal. We in England have female officials in the Premier League.
Ah.
The Brits always ahead.
Always ahead. So yeah, I think that's really a great new development.
Steve C, I love rough cuts. Please only rough cuts.
But Samia, I know you were thinking, okay, I'm going to wrap up with that. But since you're talking about equality between the sexes, I have one other quick story for you.
Okay, well, you look that up. I'm going to just finish reading these quotes. Ashley Gray saying, as long as she knows the rules and makes good, fair calls, she's good in my books. I know plenty of females that know football better than males. Ah ha 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 ha, laughing. Ron dogging on NFL officials is great.
Who said that?
Ashley.
Thank you, Ash.
Deborah saying, Rachel, I just like watching football for the players.
I know.
John Pershilly. Uh-oh. John's comment's going to piss off a lot of people, I think.
Who?
John Pershilly. Will our penalty flag be pink instead of yellow?
Oh, see.
We just wait. Let the backlash begin.
Right. We got to give it 30 seconds.
I know.
So, since you brought up the topic, I can't wait to share this with you because I thought you would find this pretty interesting. Is my tongue a little bit purple?
Did you eat something purple or
No.
blue?
I'm experimenting with a new version of Crystal Light. It's the Walmart brand of Crystal Light.
That
I think it
makes
might be,
your lips purple,
I think
too.
it might be a little bit stronger. Here. I mean, here's the actual... Oh, I got to be careful. Can I show this without spilling
No,
it?
you might spill. We
Yeah.
cannot spill any
We
Crystal
cannot
Light on the
spill.
iPad or the keyboard. That would be bad.
That would be really bad.
Be really bad.
But, so I'm just trying to adjust to that. But
Okay, so what's your final story?
get this. So this should have been way bigger of a hoopla instead of it just snuck up on everybody. As you know, the Final Four is this weekend in Indianapolis.
Right.
And somebody came up with the, frankly, kind of brilliant idea of let's have a 3-point contest battle of the sexes. So they picked one star from women's college basketball and one star from men's college basketball and said, okay, we will do a 3-point shooting contest and we'll just leave it open. We'll see who, and
Who's
literally
better?
in the battle of the sexes. So get this. Here's the name to know today. Cassandra Brown from the University of Portland won the overall 3-point shooting championship Thursday in Indianapolis. She completed her career with first won the women's 3-point contest in the State Farm College Slam event. She's from Vernon, BC. And so then she faces off against Gonzaga's Kevin Pangos, who won the men's competition in the Battle of Champions. So it's kind of like the Battle of the Sexes.
But basketball edition.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's brilliant, and I just can't believe they didn't promote the heck out of it ahead of time because I think people would have really gotten into it. So, anyway, it's her against him, and this Pangos, you probably haven't heard of him, but he was, Gonzaga was really good this year. They made it to the Elite Eight. They were actually getting very close to making it to the Final Four. They're a great big college basketball program at a really small university, a Catholic school in Spokane, which is where I came from. I anchored in Spokane before I was here at KXLY. And so anyway, Gonzaga recruits really good players from all over the world. And Pangos, who is outstanding, and he, by the way, is Canadian.
They're both Canadian.
You're right about that, because she is from Vernon, British Columbia, and he's from somewhere out by Toronto.
So this is a battle of the Canadian sexes.
It's a battle of the Canadian sexes on American soil, in the heart of America, in Indianapolis.
Right.
So she faces off against Kevin Pangos, who'd easily won against the men. And he went first, and he put up 20 points. Cassandra Brown then puts up 21 points to win. And in one stretch, she made 9 3-pointers in a row.
That's 27 points.
Holy. So, I don't know how they beat each other on a score of 21-20 when 9 3-pointers is more than, that's, like you said, it's 27 points. But maybe you only got a point per basket or something like that.
Likely.
So I know I can't show it because it's from those people.
Another name network.
Another network. But so she's a senior and he's a senior, and I just think it's fascinating that she goes on to win the competition.
That is really cool.
I think we'll see more of that kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And why not? Huh? So there you are.
Well, thanks for that update.
Yeah, sure. I guess that's it, huh?
I think so. Well, I have one story that I was going to just save for this afternoon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
One more fun one to kind of go out on a good note?
We were going to talk about it yesterday. The newest edition
Great.
at Starbucks.
I love this.
Now, in case you're in the healthy mood at Starbucks, there is a solution. Kale. People are confused. So now Starbucks has officially launched 3 new smoothie flavors as part of its Greek yogurt partnership.
Okay.
And you'll even be able to get them with kale if that's how you like your smoothie. So
are you able to show this
strawberry,
picture?
Strawberry, mango, carrot, and sweet greens. Well, I think so because it's a Starbucks. It's an official Starbucks image.
Well, there you go. And it's very interesting because you can immediately tell which one is the kale one.
Well, that one's sweet greens.
Oh, all of these have kale in them?
No. You have the option, I think, of adding kale. They're customizable smoothies.
Yeah.
So you have strawberry, mango, carrot, and sweet greens.
Yeah.
A veggie-based option with greens and fruits. Like Jamba Juice, the new beverages can be customized with other add-ins like protein powder, more fruit, or kale. So you can customize your smoothies.
All right. So you want to get some healthy stuff, but you don't want to go through all the rigmarole of making a salad, which is where normally you would get kale.
Well, I'm saying if you're at Starbucks already, say you're going to Starbucks because you need to use the internet, say you need to study, say you need to work on something, and you feel bad, you don't want to just go there and use their internet and not buy anything, but you don't feel like coffee, or you find that the only coffees you like also have 300 calories.
Would people feel bad if they just went into Starbucks and used the internet and then left? Would they?
I feel like there's a limit. If it's like 10 minutes, I feel like you could get away with it. But if you're sitting there posted up for 3 hours, it's going to look awkward if there's not a Starbucks cup or a Starbucks wrapper next to you. I know this from personal experience.
Yes. Okay.
And then it's even more awkward when a few hours pass and you finish your beverage or food item and then you think other people are judging you.
Ooh.
Because they think that you didn't buy anything, but really they just got there later and you've been here for so long and you did buy something earlier, then you have to buy more. It's a really vicious cycle.
Maybe you're thinking about it too much. Maybe you're overthinking what other people think about you.
That's the story of my life.
Well, anyway.
Anyways.
I don't know. I guess it's a...
Would you get a Starbucks smoothie? Kale smoothie. A grande is going to cost you $5.95.
Of smoothie stuff. So they have strawberry, mango, carrot, sweet greens. They have Dannon yogurt. You can throw some protein there if you want.
They're made with Dannon yogurt, these smoothies.
Okay.
And you can customize them by adding things like kale or protein powder. But the 3 main flavors are strawberry, mango, carrot, and sweet greens. I bet mango carrot would be good. I bet sweet greens would be good. I'm very intrigued, but it's something that I don't know if I want to spend my money on. So what I would do is probably use one of my Starbucks rewards. You know how I gather lots of stars?
Oh, yes.
So I'd probably use a reward and then experience it for free, and if I like it, then invest later.
Correct. Then you won't feel like, I was out $5 and the thing stunk.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Don't want to risk such
right
a thing.
With you. Well, I think one of the things I learned in this segment is that if you want to go in and just use their internet for free, 10 minutes is the rule. I mean, I didn't know what it was, but
I made that rule up, but it's my own personal opinion.
no, it's good. I mean, you're an internet sensation. You should know. You should be able.
I'm a Starbucks sensation.
I would have no idea, but I would say to myself, if I really needed to be on there for an hour, I just wouldn't be looking around, and people can whisper all they want.
You're like, judge me now.
Bring it on.
What's worse is if then you go to the counter and you just ask for free iced water. Then it's just like, all right, this guy.
That part would be kind of funny.
That's what makes it even better, that you're there for an hour, and then you finally get up, they're like, oh, wow, he's finally going to order something.
Yeah.
And they watch you walk over. It's like, can I have an iced water? End of scene. Cut to commercial break.
No.
That would be a scene in a sitcom.
It would be fantastic.
It would be amazing.
When did they quit serving sodas at Starbucks?
I don't know. I don't think it was a hit.
Okay.
You mean those handcrafted sodas they were
at
bragging
one
about for a while?
point, I recall that you were able to get like a Diet Coke.
Okay, I don't
never
remember
knew that?
Starbucks. Oh, but I've been on my Starbucks experiences only date back to about 2001, 2002.
Okay.
So I don't know if in the 90s they sold Coke, but
I think it might have been on one of my world traveling experiences.
it must have been a different Starbucks.
I
around
think
the
it
world.
was, believe it or not, I think it was at the Starbucks in Heidelberg, Germany. Now there's a town and a half for you.
Wow.
But I think we were in there, and I think I got a Diet Coke. So this last summer, I'm in Seattle. Like, I go up a lot. We get a lot of family up that way. And I walk into a Starbucks, and I ask for a Diet Coke. I'm assuming, okay, the last time I was in a Starbucks in Germany, because I'm not like a big Starbucks guy, but it was like several months earlier, and I got a Diet Coke. So I walk up. The guy shoots me a look like, are you like from some foreign planet? Really, I mean, he wasn't even friendly about it. Oh, we don't serve that here. It was that kind of a thing. I'm like,
he was judging you.
He really was. I mean, he was trying to make it very obvious that.
And you want to be, and you're willing to sit at a Starbucks for an hour and not get a drink. Do you know how much judgment is going to happen then?
Yeah. See, but I was forced to have an interaction with this loser. It was at this. I'll just tell you, it's at the Starbucks at University Village, which is about a half mile north of the UW, University of Washington. And so, that's it. I don't like the guy. I don't like their whole franchise operation at University Village.
Wow.
So, but
harsh
otherwise,
words. These are fighting words coming out of Ron Hoon's mouth.
If I went in there and I felt like I had to use the internet, I just wouldn't bother going up to the counter. However, I do think there is a limit in terms of, good taste. Especially if other people, I don't care about the guy at the counter, but if everybody else is like, oh man, you've been here forever, pal. I don't think I'd be intimidated, but to try to be a nice guy.
Yeah, you want to do it principally.
Yes, correct.
Principally, you want to do it.
Yeah.
I want to get people's take on this Starbucks smoothie. I don't like the name Kale, Deborah's saying. If they made a pizza smoothie, I'd be more impressed, Sherry saying. Kale, yuck.
Who said that? That's funny.
Sherry.
Okay, that would be kind of a gooey, chewy almost concept.
Alfredo, kale is a class of wild cabbage. What's the big deal about it? What about the regular cabbage? That's cabbage discrimination. These viewers are so entertaining.
I know.
In Houston and Phoenix, I probably get Starbucks more than Billy Z. Cruz, and apparently drinks a lot of Starbucks. Katrina saying, I don't remember soda being at Starbucks. Alright. Oh no, kale shots. Wheatgrass shots, yes. Pizza smoothies, that's pizza blasphemy.
See, LS is saying, Ron, I got family in Tacoma.
Aw.
Yeah. I used to work at a radio station
Billy
in
C. Cruzin
Tacoma.
is going to back you up. I hate when the help talks down to the people that keep them working.
Yeah, because I'm going to treat, no matter what store I go into, or just in a customer service experience, I try to treat that person with respect. I really do. In fact, most of the time, I ask them where they are, because I want to strike up a conversation. At one time, you could tell, because there was like a couple of clicks on the line, and then somebody had a little bit of an accent, and they sound very distant sometimes when they're talking. So I said, where are you? And the guy said, I'm in the Philippines, sir. And so I said to him, I want to go to the Philippines. Where should I go? Because I would love to go to the Philippines
Yeah, it'd be
sometime.
amazing.
So he starts
Manila.
telling me about he's around where the second largest city is. And he said, there is a cave in the Philippines. See, so you learn something if you're
Right.
respectful of other people. So he starts telling me that there's this cave with a river in it in the Philippines that you can kind of kayak through. And I don't even remember the name of it now. But, I mean, I suppose I could look it up. But it was spectacular. So I kind of put it on my bucket list.
Oh, nice.
Just because I tried to be
when
nice
are
to
you
this guy.
traveling next? When's your next
I
vacation?
think my next vacation's next week. I'm gone the whole week.
Where are you going?
Just probably about as far as Payson.
Oh, you're off next week.
Yeah.
This is our last
Yeah, I know.
chat with Ron. Ron, it's not fair. We barely had you this week, and now you're leaving for real next week.
I know. But I'll watch.
Okay.
I'll watch from up there. Maybe I'll jump into the chat box.
That'll be great, and I'll be reading. And now we have this new viewer, Ron H, chiming in.
Ron H in Payson.
Oh, wait, who's this Dancer Ron username? Make that your username. Dancer Ron
Nix?
says.
Is Nix been calling me Dancer Ron today?
No, I don't think Nix is in this chat today.
Oh, really? Because
this
I was
morning.
talking to her on Twitter a lot this morning.
Oh, I haven't noticed. I don't see her name go by in the chat, so
Yeah.
not sure why. Well, Ron, thank you for joining me here on News Now.
You
I
are
appreciate
very welcome.
having you here.
I
For
love
those
to be here.
few moments we had together, they were
Yes.
wonderful moments.
I thought so.
Everyone watching at home, I hope you enjoyed all 100 news stories that I shared with you this morning.
Samia, that is actually quite a talent. When
I
you're
don't know if
not
it was
getting
100,
any
it was like
support,
20.
when I'm not around or
Or like
anything else.
anyone. I was like, does anyone want to talk to me today?
Aw.
I even waved at Andrew and then pointed at this chair, and then he just shook his head.
Oh, that
He had to go
Andrew.
work on a story. I was like, who in this room wants to sit next to me and just banter? You can't banter solo.
No, it's very difficult. I would rather be with someone who I had no chemistry with whatsoever.
Than be by myself.
Correct.
I'm with you. Because you just bantering solo is just talking to yourself and people thinking you're crazy.
Well, sure. Okay, so can I show this picture of
Sure.
this river in the Philippines? Look at this. See those golden walls, and then there's the river, and you're like going deeper and deeper into the cave. Isn't that cool?
It is really nice. That's a nice photo.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying, bye, Ron. Enjoy your vacation.
Okay.
Jessica asking you to come through Prescott.
Ooh, I love Prescott. You haven't made it up there yet. You will really like it. You'll
Maybe
be
I'll
amazed.
go this weekend. Who knows what I'll do this weekend?
It's so different than anywhere else in the state because of the courthouse square, with the band shell and the gazebo and all the old like the old saloons and stuff on Whiskey Row.
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of history there, so and it's just nice. The weather's always beautiful up there. You'll love it.
All right, good to know. Good to know.
Okay.
Well, Ron,
Okay.
I guess it's time to sign off. Thank you.
Sure.
It's been real. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in a few hours on our 3 p.m. edition of News Now, where John Hook will be joining me this afternoon.
Solid work.
Yep, John Hook.
Yep.
The topic of the hour. He actually posed this really interesting question. What role does opinion play in the news media?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's going to be our discussion this afternoon.
That's
That and, of
good.
course, other news headlines and whatnot. You know, the usual.
Yep.
So you should tune in for that one.
Yeah.
You should
I
be
probably-
Dancer Ron. John won't even know that's you. And I'll be like, we have this question from Dancer Ron. And it'll be amazing. Tune in at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
You guys do too. We'll see you guys then. Bye.